Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to ETH Talk, your weekly look at the market in ETH Online. And with all of those NOS exchanges, it's hard to pinpoint where the market is going to move on that. I would say some speculation could be done on interceptors becoming even more ubiquitous, even more important, because I think what a lot of people are fearing is going to happen when it comes to keeping your sovereignty is that medium-sized fleets of just interceptors with endosis links at like max range are going to be able to take out your sovereignty without you really being able to stop them in any efficient way, with those interceptors being so slippery. But as always, we should really keep in mind that all of this is subject to change, and your feedback is really what CCP is after at the moment to try and make this a good system for everyone. Still, we are here for the market, and that's actually a bit of a spoiler for the extra material, but that's okay. Let us start with plex, and that is 105. And plex have gone up quite substantially, 798 million almost, so back to pretty much the 800 million mark. If we go for the 1 month chart, that's actually a little bit weird, still tailing off here at the end of this chart. Let's go for like the 3 month chart. Yeah, it's still slowly trailing off over the course of 3 months, but compared to last week, it's actually a bit of a jump back up. So it's interesting. This may just be a bit of a temporary movement here in Jita, where someone came in and bought a lot of plexes up to like the 798 million mark. Now here we do have quite a few extremely recent orders. Look at that, all of these are just a few minutes old, and that's actually decent in volume, 13, 18, and then here 5, 5, all of them bidding up against each other. Buyers still at 786, so yeah, it is possible that this is just a temporary hiccup just as I'm making ETH Talk. That plex are still slowly trending down. I think the next few days and weeks are going to be interesting because FanFest is coming as well, of course. If there's opportunities to use plex for stuff at FanFest, that could be a little bit of extra demand that is going to stop this very slow downward trend. But we are below 800 million still, and here looking at the chart and looking at some of the market activity, it may still have a little bit of momentum. I think next week will be very important to see if it actually has some legs for plex going lower yet. This is a bit of a strange situation. You know, the prices, sell order prices, are close to 800 million. The chart though is showing clearly a bit of a downward trend even on the 20-day moving average. So yeah, just keep an eye on it, I think, if you can actually still pick up a few cheap plexes and it stops, then you could be able to sell them for some profit. On the other hand, if you're looking to buy plexes for your account, why not keep an eye on that and see if in the next few days it continues to actually slowly go down. Moving on to minerals then, that's 320. And very good news for titanium in my opinion, of course, because I used to be really a miner when I started ETH Online, and I do think that high-sec miners want value for the time that they spent here, and seeing titanium back above 6 ISK on the sell orders, well, 598, they just dipped back below that, but seeing titanium recover from the dip last week, or that started 2 weeks ago, and breaking the 20-day moving average again, heading back towards 6 ISK is very good news for the high-sec miners. I was predicting a bit of a more stable mineral market for a while, and titanium was breaking that trend, but now it's right back here. So this does seem to be just a short-lived dip in the titanium market, and hopefully we'll be back at 6 ISK or above 6 ISK soon, and then we could really talk about a decently stable period around that price mark. That would be very welcome. Let's have a look at pyrite. Pyrite actually taking off. Oh my god, that's not insignificant here. I think it slowly started last week, but it was not as dramatic. But here now we're heading towards 13 ISK, 12.94 for the sellers, 12.93 for the buyers. Look at how much competition there is for pyrite. Demand is coming in. Whoops, that's I still have 1 hour for Eve talk. Should be possible without too much problem. I'm seeing quite a bit of supply coming in because of these higher prices, but it does look like the buy orders are following suit. 12.93 for the highest buy order, 12.89 for the next one, with 20 million units, which is not that bad and pretty recent as well. So a lot of competition in the pyrite market, and that one is going up. Let's see. I do think it's going to stop. If you look at the numbers on the supply side here, it's going to at least slow down or stop. But will it just find a new equilibrium closer to 13 ISK? I actually think it's possible, and that would be very good news for high-sec miners. That just means a bit more money in the bank for every cycle that they mine. Here is Mexalon next. A little bit down, but also trying to recover, I feel. So 60 ISKs, it's still above that. Yeah, still manages to stay above 60 ISK, 60.45 for the sellers, 59.93, 39. I'm sorry, for the buyers. So be a little bit careful, but it does look like Mexalon will not break 60 ISK. You can see here on the chart it tried to do it, but now it's bouncing back off and on its way to meet the 20-day moving average. With a bit of luck, it's actually going to cross that, and we'll be back at a healthy margin above 60 ISK for Mexalon. If it can maintain that, I think overall it's looking pretty good for high-sec minerals. Here is the Isogen chart next. Again, this is okay. I feel it started a month ago at 128. It went up a little bit, and then we basically have a double top, which is not very significant, from like 128 to 136. It's not that big of a move, and it was decently slow paced as well, but now that seems to be over and we're back at the 128 mark. But overall that's okay for Isogen over the course of the last month. 128.46 for the sellers, 125.05 for the buyer, so very small margin. This is a price that the market is willing to pay for Isogen. I would say all of the high-sec minerals look pretty damn good. Mexalon needs to recover the same way that Tritanium has just recovered, and then Pyrite is really where the money is at the moment. That one is breaking out a little bit. So yeah, you know what to mine, I guess. Mine ores that yield you some Pyrite. Try and take advantage of Pyrite close to 13 ISK. I do think it's going to be short-lived. This is going to either flatten out or correct back towards 12.4, where I would say Pyrite has been for the last month or so. So not that bad for the high-sec miners. Next up, null-sec stuff. We'll start with Noxium. That one is in between null-sec and high-sec. It's available in decently small quantities in high-sec as well. That one has completed its recovery from 6 months ago, so it's back at 680, which is a normal price for Noxium. Honestly, it's not that out of bounds, I think, historically speaking, but that was a serious dip, and this is really the investment you should have made. Noxium below 550, even Noxium below 600, buy all of it that you could, and now you would have looked at a very nice profit of more than 10% pretty easily. On this, unfortunately, it's not the horse I bet on, but it is good news for some miners and some investors as well, I think. Unfortunately, when we look at Megasite, you've already been able to spot that, I think, in the ticker below. That one is not doing that well. Look at that. It actually broke 700 ISK for a moment there, which I would have called as being the bottom. It's trying to defend that with everything it's got, but Megasite market is just still going down. I mean, now it's breaking 720 on the sell orders, and there is still some competition coming in. These orders are a bit older, but I guess everything that really dipped below the 700 has just been bought up. Which is good news, I think, if you call 700 the bottom. And so that is something maybe to keep an eye out for. If you see Megasite doing another one of those dips and you see sell orders coming really close to the 700 mark, that might be a good investment, because I really don't see it go even lower than that. But I've been saying that for several months at a row. I thought at 950 it wouldn't go any lower either. Let me see for the 1 year chart. Yeah, I thought at 950 it wouldn't go any lower either. And look at this 1 year chart, starting at 1600 and now flirting with 700. That's less than half the price. So Megasite, be careful, but that bottom is going to have to show up at some point, I think. And I do think with 700 we are pretty close. And I think some people agree with me on that, considering all of the recent orders, I guess, all of the competition for the sellers towards 700 has basically been bought up by a few big players. I think that's how I'm reading the fact that all of these orders are pretty old here. So I think a bottom is forming. I have to be honest on this, I do think so. Let's check out the Sideline chart. That one is doing the same, actually broke 400, which I had called that as a bottom, and already went back above that. Are we seeing the same thing with the sellers? Well, a few are coming back here at 408, so that's a little bit higher here again, but a lot of these are old, so I do think that people are snatching up periodically Sideline once it does break 400. Buyers though 385, extremely low, and I will also show you the 1 year chart for Sideline. Started at 700, now breaking 400. It's not the half the price or less than half the price that Mexite is, but it is quite drastic. And so yeah, this is nullsec mining right here at the moment, not doing too well. I guess it's just too stable in nullsec to get increased prices for Sideline and Megasite at the moment. People can just go do their mining in peace. There's not that much war going on, that much disruption. Let's hope that the nullsec changes can actually mean a turnaround, which is a possibility, honestly, thinking about this right now. They are at bottom prices. Those nullsec changes could really invigorate this entire market. It's something for you to consider. I'm not sure if I would jump on that bandwagon just yet. We still have a few months before the nullsec changes come, but it may be something that savvy investors want to consider. Next up, Take One ships, 11:35. I think we'll put the time marker on, and here we go. Let's have a look here at the Caracal 1 month chart, I guess, for just a moment here. Yeah, last week we saw jump up to 12 million. There's actually someone that just a few days ago, I think, commented that it's probably their alliances buying a huge amount of Caracals for active fleets. But as I said, I was expecting this to be pretty short-lived, and here it is. It's already back down to 11 million. In fact, the sellers are at 10.9 million, the buyers 10.7 million, something like that. So industry can really react to higher prices, to a buyout by a big alliance in a very swift fashion, especially on smaller ships like a cruiser. Look at that, 43, 50, 10, 15, 147. Some people, I guess, listened and tried to still burn their Caracals close to 11 million, but or even above that. Look at that, 98 above 11 million, 109 at 12.500 million. That guy basically killed the upswing on Caracals there. But you can see that supply can come in very quickly for Take One ships, and it does, meaning that overall the Take One market is decently stable. Here is the Dominic's, similar situation. Look at that, jump up to 202, now heading back towards 190. Which is I think an average price for the Dominics. If you go for a 6 month chart, look at that, staying above 190 quite a lot here, below that right here. So on average 190 for a Dominics. Here we do see this little spike, but I guess if we look at supply now, 7, 4, 3, 23, 29 here, 9, another 5 here. The buyer side is 4, 2, 1. That's a more normal number. So yeah, there was a response by suppliers to this Dominic's spike, and here it is back in normal territory. Take One market showing awesome stability, in my opinion. Here a Drake again. So nice spike up, and again back down towards 48 million where it normally is. So that's good. Maybe even a bit lower, you know, 47 million is maybe a better average for the Drake if you keep in mind the first 3 months here. But yeah, 48 million actually feels pretty okay for Drakes. We are talking about 48 million for the sales, 46.8 for the buyer, so I was right on the money there. Here is the Myrmidon chart. That one was knowing a bit of a dip, and the counter response is there as well, I think. Overall, I think this Take One market, it's a very mature market. People know when to produce stuff, know when to wait a little bit on stuff, and it is very much possible that Caracal Dominic's people needed to produce those, taking advantage of those higher prices. Thus, other ships that maybe have not been invoked because of the lower prices, well, people hold on those a little bit. They switch their production. They have all the blueprints available, and thus we see Myrmidons going back up in price a little bit. still 14 of it and 18 of them coming in. May have been a buyout as well, honestly. Spotting that Myrmidons were decently low, price back up because of a pretty big buyout. You're seeing that the seller page is actually limited in numbers quite a little bit, so that's actually something that might have happened here on the Myrmidon. But overall, you know, if we're looking at close to 51 million on average for a Myrmidon, we're still not that far off of it. Here's the Raptor chart. That one has really been the most stable one that I've been checking since I've started doing that, and yeah, it's right there, 10.5 to 11 million, right in that band where it's been most of the time over the last 6 months. So just really stable, no need to worry about that. Here's the Talos, new a bit more of a movement similar to what was that, early November. Very nice spike, a bit of overreaction by the industrialists, bring too many Talos to the market, so it dipped back down to 68. Then it came back on around the 72 mark for a little bit, where I think is a normal price for Taloses, working its way back up to 80, and again a counter reaction down to 70 this time, and now trying to find its stable price at, well, 74, 72, something like that. I think it is in the cards. Let's see if there is a bit of oversupply. 10, 11, 11 right here. Recent, well, these 10 are pretty recent, and all of these are recent as well. So I would say, yeah, there is still a bit of oversupply. Prices though, 76, a little high as well on average. One thing I would say about the Talos is it is one of the most recent, or if not the most recent, Tech 1 ship, these tier 3 battle cruisers, and so that is, I think, why we're still seeing some more variation, some more competition as well in something like the Talos market. The reason being, there are not that many players that have perfect Talos BPOs just yet, compared to something like a Tech 1 cruiser or even a Tech 1 battleship that has been out for many more years than these ships. So that is, I think, why we're seeing these bigger spikes percentage wise on something like the Talos. But overall, it's part of the Tech 1 market, and I think it's doing a good job of staying decently stable in a range that is affordable to everyone. Next up, Tech 2 market. Let's have a look at that. 1715. Let's see if we can find some trade opportunities in this. I'll go over this decently quickly, but the Basilisk recovering from it's pretty much a low point at close to 175 last week. So I think I called that for a buy opportunity, not 100% sure. Maybe we were still on the downtrend, but I definitely feel that that one was one you should have kept an eye on. And you can see here the opportunity back up to 195. In fact, yeah, it's being completely bought out. So this was a huge opportunity. You could have picked up some Basilisks close to 175, definitely below 180. And yeah, just bring them to the market now if you still have them, because even the buyers have gone to 185 for Basilisk. So there you go, nice little spike in the work here. Next up, the Guardian. That one is heading lower and lower. That's very nice to see. I think if it comes close to 135, consider that. In fact, buyers 131. If you can pick them up below 135, I think you're doing good business on Guardians at the moment. When will the spike happen? I have no idea, but I do think if you look at the rest of this chart, that 135 has been a trigger several times, and well, the buy orders give you that opportunity at the moment. Next up, the Hound, breaking 18 million, not insignificant. Sellers below 18 million, buyers at 17 million. I guess supply is still a little bit big here with 45, 10, 13 and 72, but buyers are starting to make their moves here. 19, 16, 95 at 15 million, really putting that bottom there. But yeah, maybe Hounds, you know, spikes have been at 21, 22 and 23 million. So it is possible that something might happen here. Next up, the Manticore, unfortunately at 23 million. I'd say it's a bit too risky to say that you should move in on buy orders on this one. So yeah, sell Manticores. I guess you may have had opportunities to buy them below 22 million if you look at these triggers, but at the moment, well, I don't know, Manticore just right in the middle of everything. So I wouldn't invest in that for sure. Here's the Nemesis working on its downward trend, I guess, after a spike up to 21.5 million. Let's have a look at buyers. 17.2, buyers 20.6. So you can probably try investing in some Nemesis ships at the moment if you can pick them up on the barges. These are starting to be decent numbers already, 22, 19, 18, all of these pretty recent, so this will stall pretty soon here, and probably dive down towards 20 million, but maybe even break that. But I think we are already at the point where you should consider buying the Nemesis for the next leg up. Here is the Nighthawk command ship. Oh my god, taking off quite nicely. That's unexpected. Been really stable, and now it is up to 278. Oh my god, yeah, someone came in on the Nighthawk market, but look at how stable it's been over the last 3 months, and then for 6 months you can see just one spike and then back in its stable price range of 265 to 270. And now someone came in with a big move, but I would never have risked investing in Nighthawks counting on this to happen. It's just too risky for me, but as you can see, it does tend to happen here and there. Maybe, but if like next week, if this doesn't die down, I'll recheck all of the command chips. It could be interesting to see if this is a pattern across them. At the moment, I would say be very careful with command chips if you're looking to make trade deals, because I feel they've been just way too stable. Here is the Alneros chart, not bad, you know, going down here pretty significant as well after a double spike with a nice high of 180 million. Current buy orders 145, current sellers 153. So yeah, definitely you can see that trade opportunities do exist in these Tech 2 ships right here. You can buy them now for probably 147, 148, something like that, and you had opportunities to sell them at definitely 175, something like that. So not bad. 20 million on a single ship should really be something that traders are interested in. Here's the Purifier chart. I think that's pretty beautiful, honestly. Look at that spike up to 21, double spike right here, another double spike with a dip as low as 18.5, and now we're breaking that. Current buyers 17 million. No one is buying purifiers for some reason, so maybe, I don't know, if it could somehow come back in vogue to fly purifiers. The oversupply is pretty big here though, so be careful. But this is an interesting chart. I feel not that long ago, a couple of months, we were talking about 20 million for purifiers. Now they're really falling out of grace at the moment. Why? Not sure. It's not like these are being rebounced or anything like that. So you could consider purifiers for some investments, I would say then medium term, because all of this will need to be chewed through, and that's quite a lot. Next up, the Scimitar, or finally I would say the Scimitar, breaking 140 on the charts. That's interesting. 135 for the buyers, sellers below 140. Okay, not bad. Again, you can see here double spike up to 175, or maybe that's like one big spike, honestly, up to 175. There is opportunity, but I will have to admit that the Scimitar has not shown that many opportunities in the last 2-3 months. So be careful, but again, you never know. The triggers, you know, close to 135 has been a trigger a few times, 140 as well. Let's maybe go for the 1 year chart, show you guys that it does happen more often. Here again, breaking 140, up, up, up again. So yeah, maybe Scimitars for investments could be good as well. I'm seeing quite a few buy opportunities right here. With was the Basilisk working on another sell opportunity here. So yeah, trades, Tech 2 market, check it out, I would say. Next up, Tech 3 market, 2340. Okay, and we'll start here with the Confessor, but we all know what that one is doing, being pretty stable because it is so new. Maybe I'll go for a 6-month chart on these again. And Zwepel will show something pretty similar pretty damn soon. In fact, they are already at 38 million for the sellers, 36 million for the buyers. So yeah, you're looking at less than 40 million for a Zwepel. So that's not that bad. But you can see 160, 118, 38, 60, 36. I really wonder how is there that much Tech 3 industry potential at the moment. I guess wormhole space is quite popular for stuff like this, because those are pretty damn big numbers for something that came out that recently. Let's check out the cruisers, but I think the overall pattern is pretty clear here. Legion slowly going down, oversupply 10, 10, 13, 11. It is simply a fact. Here is the Loki then. Also 20-day moving average still going down, 5-day moving average stalling a little bit. Oversupply, well, look at that, 34, 12, 11, 31, 52. I mean, all of these are Tech 3 ships that have to have been made with resources from wormhole space. And yeah, supply, it's just there is oversupply. The industrial potential of or production throughout New Eden is just higher than what people are using or losing them for. So it's just part of reality. Here is the Proteus market also going down, heading below 160, and 16, 26, 15, 25 buy orders, 1, 2, 3, one very opportunistic one of 15, but yeah, there's just too much coming to the market here. And here's the Tengu also going down. In fact, the biggest mover percentage wise of the ticker, I think, has been the Tengu, with a serious leg down here after trying to stall a few weeks ago. Oversupply, well, it's not that pronounced here, but 10, 8, 7, 8, 5, all of them really recent, less than 5 hours old. I can go down a little bit more, less than a day old, 35 right here, still less than a day old, 16, 18, 17, 23, 12. Yeah, oversupply in the Tech 3 market is just a fact. And so whereas the Confessor launch has been able to really put a dent in that for a moment, you know, people did maybe suspect that this would cost more industrial capabilities, and as they did go up quite significantly, all of the cruisers, we can already see from this Vapor that it's going to be less and less with every new deployment of a new tactical destroyer. Oversupply in the Tech 3 market, it's been like that for over a year, I think, and it is definitely still there. Next up, the extra product is going to be mining barges, and we will start that at 2650. It's just a personal interest on this one. I have no real idea of anything else that I want to check at the moment, or what to check because of the nullsec changes. Honestly, if you have, maybe that could be my question for you guys. What would you like me to check in JITA? So capital ships or super caps is really hard to do here, but what would you like me to check on the market that you think might be influenced by the nullsec changes that have been announced in the dev blog? Because I have little idea. I do know that the only way to keep upping your defense bonus is through mining. All the other ones are capped or something like that, so it could be interesting to check mining barges because of that. Let's start with Tech 1. Here is the Covetor 6-month chart. Honestly, Tech 1 pretty stable. We're talking what, 32 million for a Covetor on average, maybe a bit lower than that, 31 million on average, but this is pretty similar to what I've seen in other Tech 1 ships. Here is the Procurer, yeah, also pretty stable, just below 20 million normally. A little bit of a spike right here. I guess we're seeing oversupply coming in because of that. Look at that, 2,300, 3,200 procurers to the market because of that spike. But it's very similar to the Tech 1 market. Here is the Retriever then. In fact, this one knew quite a bit of a slow dip, followed by a nice spike up to 29.5, but again, average 27.5, 28 million for a Retriever. You've been able to buy them throughout the last 6 months quite easily for that price. So I would say nothing special to be noticed here. The Tech 1 mining barges have been following a pattern quite similar to other Tech 1 ships. Maybe the Tech 2 could be more interesting. Let's start with the smaller one, the Skiff right here. Nope, not really. I would say pretty stable at 170 to 175. Been below that quite a bit. Here we knew another spike that was quite short-lived, and now we're heading back towards that average of 170, 175 after a bit of maybe tumultuous water in the last month or so, but overall way too stable, this Skiff. Next up, the Mackinac, again very stable. I'm surprised by how stable this is. Just below 200 million for a Mackinac. Maybe I should quickly check out on the 1-year charts. Well, this is all okay, you know, 195 on average. Sure, it went up and down quite a little bit, probably with some Tech 2 materials, you know, if something happened there a little bit, followed suit decently slowly, but overall I'm not seeing anything completely out of the ordinary or something to worry about either. Here is the Hulk 6-month chart. That's a bit more spiky, honestly. That's not bad. Starting 235, spike down here below 210, so that's 25 million. That's more than 10%. That's not bad. And this is pretty spiky. This is a bit more take two trade worthy right here. Look at that. 240, back down to 220, back up to 240 in very short order. Yeah, the Hulk much more like a take two market, but considering the spiky behavior of the Hulk, I would say none of this is out of reach either, unless we're seeing 250 for buyers, but we're seeing supply coming in as well in larger numbers. So I don't think that's like the Hulk is going to all of a sudden break out either. Maybe it's because of the volumes that are quite a bit more limited here, that Hulk shows more spiky take two like behavior, but overall I'm not seeing anything dramatic. Mining barges have been pretty affordable, I guess, for anyone that wants to do them, or pretty, maybe I shouldn't say affordable, you know, 230 million for a Hulk. It's not nothing, but it's something you can plan for. It's something you can say, well, okay, I'll go for a Hulk or I'll go for a Mackinac. You know exactly how much money you need to save up for that while you skill for them. So maybe, yeah, affordable is maybe not the exact right word, but predictable, I guess, is what I'm looking for. A bit of a predictable market, these mining barges. Here is Mackinac or Development Edition. Didn't even know that that was a thing. 500 million for that at the moment. Bit of speculation. 6 months ago, 700 million, 250. That's not bad on the 5-day moving averages, but I guess people accept that you'll pay 500 million for an ore Development Edition. This is what it looks like. Pretty cool. Would I spend 200 million on a skin for a Mackinac that can be ganked pretty easily if you don't tank it? I don't think I would personally. The numbers also tell the story right here. It's not like you're selling these every single day. But okay, the mining barges, nothing out of the ordinary. As I said, I would call that a predictable market. You know exactly what you're gonna have to spend to get the barge you want. Anyways, that's it for this EVE Talk then, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all next time.